DAZN's news desk have put out a notification that it's likely to be Daniel Dubois versus Fabio Wardley on May the 9th at the O2. What do you make of that of a fight for Wardley, Paul?
I think it's a very good fight. I think it's a brilliant fight for the fans.
First title defence.
Yeah, it's a tough first title defence. And listen, I've had my opinion on Dubois many a time, but what I've never ever not said is he's an unbelievable athlete and a good fighter and a very dangerous fighter and someone who would be a nightmare to be in the ring against, given his size, his tools, his attributes, just the whole presence of him. I think it's a very tough fight. I think it's a potential to be a brilliant fight.
I think so too.
And Wardley is the type that can bring that out in Dubois, as in he'll absorb a lot. I think he's got a really good chin. He's tough. He's obviously game. He's got that equaliser power as well. And I think it's a very good fight. It's a risky one for the first defence, I think. What about yourselves?
Yeah, I totally agree with that, mate. I think that the momentum is definitely with Fabio Wardley. You know, coming off that Joseph Parker victory is going to elevate him to another space. Like, you know, you look at his career and how he's gone from strength to strength and has been the underdog all the time and always chasing the guy with a target on the back. Now he's the guy with a target in the back. And as you both of you guys will know, when you win that title, it does take you to a different place. When you're the champion and not the challenger, it takes you into a different mind space. And I think that gives Fabio the edge for sure, because Daniel, you know, you're coming off that defeat and that PTSD that he goes through. Will that reoccur? But one thing is for sure, he fancies that. He fancies the fight. And I think, by the way, a lot of people, we were talking about it a couple of shows ago, weren't we, when you're talking about the rebuild of Daniel Dubois. The best thing for him to do is jump him straight back on the saddle and straight back into the ring with the top contenders. I don't think he's the type of fighter that needs that rebuild.
That's what I was going to ask Lewis. Obviously, you're in that position now. Have things changed now? You've got the target on your back.
Oh, for sure. Like, I was always the one, like, hunting, like, as they say. And then it was for, like, 6 weeks straight. I had an opponent call me out every week, and there was fights everywhere and stuff. So, but since I became world champion, like, everything's changed. Like, my mentality's changed, everything. Like, I've started the year, like, so strong. And which I think Wardley is going to be full of confidence going into this fight. Especially, like, he's very, very tough. Like, even if you drop Wardley, you know he's getting back up and he's come for. He could be down 11 rounds and he's still going to be there. But what a great fight for the UK fans.
That's what I'm curious about, Simon, how Wardley will deal with now being in the driving seat rather than being hunted now.
I think
he'll deal with it.
Given what Fabio has achieved and the direction of travel and the way that he's been written off pretty much in every fight except Justice Hooney, I don't think it phases him. I think the biggest challenge for Fabio was fighting in front of the Portman Road crowd at Ipswich, where the expectation was so high of him that he, to my mind, wasn't operating at the level that he's operated in previous fights. But he got past it. Can you relate? I mean, you're just about to take, and we'll get on to you specifically a little bit later on in the show, but he's taken a really tough title defence here. Daniel Dubois is, you know, a very dangerous opponent and someone that a lot of people think is going to get a world title back at some stage if Moses Atoma doesn't appear over the horizon too quickly. Can you relate to the mindset of your first defence being such a hard one, given the fact that you are, by definition, taking a very hard first defence?
Like, at the end of the day, we're boxers, we're fighters. You know, if you're not willing to get in with anyone, then what's the point of boxing? What's the point of being a world champion? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, no matter who the opponent is, willing. If you want to take the easy way, that's fine. But if there's an opponent there who's set and that's for you, get on with it. What can you do about it? Do you know what I mean? Control uncontrollable, and that's what you have to do.
But there is an element, though, isn't there, of settling down and being a world champion. You know, sort of getting into a position where you don't get, because I was talking with Frank Warren about Nick Ball, and I'll get into that in a second, but there is an element of fighters sometimes get a little bit of a gimme first time round to get themselves into a comfortable pace of acclimatising to being a world champion. Going straight in with a hard fight like you're doing is just your version of the best way to do things, is it?
I mean, I don't even think about it like that. I wish I had an easier fight or anything. It's just
what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Do you know? So you may as well just accept it and get on with it.
I think the landscape's changed a lot in recent times as well. When guys pick up world titles, it was that old school way where you might get a defence, two defence. I mean, look at Chris Eubank Senior and Nigel Benn and some of the opponents that they boxed, and they go down in history as, you know, greatest British fighters of all time.
Do you think Spence?
But you go, that has changed a lot now. I think.
Do you think for Daniel? I mean, obviously a lot's changed in Daniel. He's changed camps and then changed it back again.
Yeah. There
was a lot of disappointment in the performance that Daniel put in against Usyk, not because anyone marginalised Usyk's talent, because they expected a little bit more at certain times from Daniel. Is this the right fight for Daniel? I know you said a moment ago that for him going back in, he doesn't need a rebuild fight.
Yeah.
Why is he any different from anyone else? Why is he any different from Anthony Joshua? Anyone else?
Just the character that he is. You know, I think Daniel Dubois is, you know, he's just one of those guys that he doesn't want to get, but, you know, we talk about Nick Ball in a bit, and he's a similar sort of character where he'll want to get straight back in the big mix. Some fighters need a confidence builder, you know, because it's a psychological battle as well as a physical one. He's not wired that way. So Daniel Dubois, boom, he will have forgot about that last defeat. He'll want to go straight back in their fight for titles. It's the perfect fight for Daniel, and also the perfect fight for Fabio, because you look at this and you go, it's one of those fights you can see both guys winning. Yeah, Fabio will start marginally favourite, but Daniel Dubois hits as hard as any heavyweight out there. Fabio Wardley does get hit.
Who wins it, boys?
What, for Dubois and Wardley?
Indeed.
Yeah, you've got to lean towards Wardley at this moment just because of the momentum, and we don't know what that effect is going to have off Usyk. Yeah, we've all got an idea and an opinion.
Wardley, I would have to back Wardley just with the confidence in he's on an all-time high right now.
Paul?
See, I'm the opposite. I am picking Wardley, but I would say Dubois will probably be favourite. But it sounds a bit daft, but I'm backing Wardley, and I think, again, I've said this time and time again, and this is why I agree with what you're saying, that I don't think he needs a warm-up fight. It's not his ability, it's not his fitness, it's not his desire, as technicalities or his technical makeup. That is the problem, in my opinion, with Dubois. So just get straight back in there. And if and when, as I said, the fight might get hard, then I would favour Wardley to come through in that in the end.
It's about the hardest first defence of a title that he could make against Daniel Dubois, because he's still young.
In the heavyweight division,
he's still young. He's still improving. So it's a tough fight. It's a great fight.
Sorry to interrupt. Just when you were talking then and you were saying, you know, I'll fight anyone. Like, I'm looking at you laughing, thinking in my position, but I never won a world title, but I'm 7-8 years retired, and I'm looking, thinking, as soon as you win that world title, you get your cash in fight, and then you'll have your hard fights. And it's usually the way it hasn't worked out that way for you, because obviously it appears to be a tough one, but you'll come to that eventually.
I'm going to kind of bring that point up in conjunction with Nick Ball in a minute and throw it back at you, because there's a reason behind that. In the background, before I close off this subject, will be the impending image of Tyson Fury. Everybody thinks he's going to beat quite comfortably Makhmudov. Well, I think he is. Well, most of us turned around and said a 60% Tyson Fury will beat Makhmudov, didn't we?
Listen, I think most people believe that he's going to win the fight, but by no means is this because this is a serious test for Fury.
Not a gimme, but Tyson, if Tyson Fury's got 60% of himself left, most of us think he's going to get past Makhmudov, don't we? So my question then leads to Wardley or Dubois. If it lands in that space that Fury comes over the horizon, beats Makhmudov for the purpose of this conversation, and then is waiting in the wings.
He fights the winner of that fight.
Correct.
100%.
How do we see that one going?
Depends on what Tyson Fury looks like, because we sort of can't give you that answer until you see what that layoff's been like for Fury at this stage of his career, what he looks like against Makhmudov. You can't pick a winner between a winner of that and a winner of that, because we just don't know at this stage of Fury's career what he's going to have left. So I think it's difficult to say that.
But
of course,
for the
Tyson Fury
of hypothesis, if Fury is back to where to some level that vaguely resembles what we saw against Usyk, right? Does he go into a fight against?
He goes
Wardley?
in favourite.
Right. Are you in that same camp, boys?
I would be.
If he's what he is against Usyk, he would go in as favourite. If he's what he is against Usyk, then the Makhmudov fight should be relatively straightforward for him, and a warm-up fight, with all due respect to Makhmudov. But I don't know. I just don't know. It's still there no more. And I'm unfortunately, the way it is in the heavyweight division at the moment is there's that much inactivity. We don't get to we don't actually know if it's still there. Only he will know.
It's a great test for him, because Makhmudov is the guy that will test him, and we will get the answers. He will.
Paul, Lewis, why Fury would be significantly debilitated? I know he's gotten older, but we've had long layoffs in his career before. We've had situations in his life where he's descended to the bottom and come back and fought at the highest level. He didn't take, it was hard fights, but he didn't take a massive beating from Usyk in either one of those fights. So is there any reason, besides Father Time really catching up with him, that we should price in that Fury might be significantly degraded? Why wouldn't we bake it into our thinking, given what we know of this man?
I don't think he has
can come back at a high level.
Significantly degraded to not be able to reach that top again. I think we're talking fine margins here. And with Tyson Fury, a lot of it's lifestyle, Simon. You've lived that life. You know, going like when fighters sort of, and the boys will back me up on this one, when a fighter trains and he trains like a demon to get into that title fight. He wins that title fight, then he disappears for 6 or 8 weeks, puts on loads of weight, loses it. That takes its toll on your body. And at some point, you can be in the gym and you're looking great in sparring, and everything comes and that bell rings. And as you guys know, sparring, competing, two totally different things. The bell rings and the fight has just left you. And he's at that stage of his career that it could happen. The wheels could come off at any point.
Are you in the mindset we see Fury as a world champion again, Lewis?
Yeah, it'd be rude to rule it out. Like, anything can happen in heavyweight boxing, especially a big name. He's gonna get the big fights as well. So I wouldn't rule it out.